This is Duke University.
Sorry, I have my cell phone to hold down my paper because it's windy. Good afternoon, families, friends, guests, professors, and of course the graduating class of 2013. I'd like to take a few moments of a day filled with narratives of how great we are, and I mean we are, and how great our mothers are, and of course they are as well, to share and build on some thoughts that I originally prepared for a personal reflection assignment required in my ICS capstone seminar last fall. In the summer of 2012, I interned with Duke University's Children's Defense Fund Freedom Schools program. The Freedom Schools program, which is rooted in the African American civil rights movement of the 1960s, employs college-age youth to make a difference in their communities. The motivational song that we sing every day, Labai Sifri's Something Inside So Strong, helps children believe in who they are and grow up to believe that they can make a difference. Without doubt, there is something very powerful about music in any community building process. Freedom Schools is ultimately about setting and realizing high expectations in teaching so that all children of all income and racial groups are cultivated at the highest levels. It is about teaching in ways that recognize and respond to racial, class, and other inequalities and the cultural context from which children emerge. The secret of Freedom Schools is that it changes the college students as well. The scholars taught me so much, even though they're only 6, 7, and 8 years old, just like a lot of you who have little siblings here probably have 6, 7, and 8-year-olds in your house who teach you a lot about yourself as well. Like my scholars, I learned to believe in myself. Like my scholars, I learned to embrace the word Harambe, which is a Kiswahili term meaning let's pull together. Like my scholars, I didn't have to worry about whether there would be breakfast or lunch this summer. And like my scholars, I'll admit it, I cried when it was over. And because of this experience, I added an education minor to my major in ICS and minor in African and African American studies. Entering a classroom with new students whom you've never met before is like being a part of a new cultural and social space. It requires making connections with people, no matter what age, who you initially did not understand on many levels. It's about building relationships and creating a safe environment for learning. Although it took me a while to understand my passion, I'm thankful for my Duke experience because here, we have learned what education is all about. International Comparative Studies is not just an integration of content or subject matter, but an integration of all that it means to be a literate individual. Through experiences and opportunities like working with the Freedom Schools, Duke Engage, Study Abroad, small learning environments, and enrolling in required foreign language courses, ICS has taught us how to be a part of a community of learners who are responsible for each other's learning. In ICS, we were required to consider who we are as individuals and our relationships with others, their families, their communities, and the world. As a result of this, I feel better positioned to facilitate the same kinds of opportunities for the children that I plan to work with. More generally to my peers in graduating class, I would say, don't listen to critics and naysayers. If you don't want to be criticized, then don't do anything, don't say anything, or be anything. You've really got to speak out and not let others deter you from figuring out what is right and from doing what is right. I'd like to end with a prayer from Marion Wright Edelman, who is the president of the Children's Defense Fund and coincidentally one of my bosses. I hope and pray we will not raise a generation of children with high intellectual quotients but low caring and compassion quotients, with sharp competitive edges but dull cooperative instincts, with highly developed computer skills but poorly developed consciences, with a gigantic commitment to the big I but a little sense of responsibility to the bigger we, with mounds of disconnected information without a moral context to determine its worth, with more and more knowledge and less imagination and appreciation for the magic of life that cannot be quantified or computerized, and with more and more worldliness and less wonder and awe for the sacred and everyday miracles of life. God, help us to be, create, and raise people who learn, care, wonder, and notice. Thank you very much, and congratulations, class.